Hi, everybody. I'm Cheryl Richardson, and I'm here for a Facebook Live session. I have a halo over my head because I couldn't get rid of the light. And I am, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm an author of several books: Take Time for Your Life, Life Makeovers, The Art of Extreme Self-Care, Stand Up for Your Life, and a new book that's coming out in December, on December 19th, called Waking Up in Winter, in Search of What Really Matters at Midlife. All of my writing career, which spans about 20 years now, I've written self-help books, and this next book is something brand new, and it really reflects, I think, the evolution of my own life and the evolution of my own soul. It's a memoir in journal form, and it's designed to really show you what it means to live an awake and conscious life, and in particular going through a period of transformation and change, which started for me, this particular transformation. I've had many in my life. This particular one started once I turned 50, and it launched me into the hero's journey in a way that I didn't understand at first. And then when I went back to reflect on my journal and read through what I had gone through, that's when I realized, wow, this is a classic hero's journey. Hi, everybody who's joining. I'm so glad to see that the comments are back. Facebook, the last couple of days, must have had some issue with comments because they weren't showing up. So let me just say hello to Anne-Marie and Teresa and Sarah and Crassie and Louise and David and Dana and Sarah and Mark. Hi, welcome. So glad to have you all here. Yeah, the book, Waking Up in Winter. Here, I'll show you the cover. Let me see if I can do this. I think I can. Can she do this? Yes. How's that? Can you see it? Waking Up in Winter. Yeah. It's always a little tricky because you have to hold it way far out. And there's suddenly I'm having rays of light. Well, I'm going to consider that divine intervention somehow. Let's see. There we go. So I wanted to read another excerpt from Waking Up in Winter, and it specifically has to do with self-care. But before I do that, I want to tell you a story of something really funny. I'm a little embarrassed to tell you this story, but it's pretty funny. I can laugh about it now, but boy, I'll tell you, it is such a reflection. Well, I won't tell you what it's a reflection of until I tell you the story. So about 1.5 years ago, I bought a new mattress and for the bed. And I bought an organic mattress. I wanted something really, just really healthy and comfy. And I had tried it in the store and felt great. I bought it from Jordan's Furniture. I'll mention that just because they've always been so good. And in this story, they were really great. So I had bought it about 1.5 years ago, and I had slept on it for a while. And over time, I just wasn't feeling comfortable. Like I just would wake up in the morning and my body didn't feel right. And in the last 6 months, I kept waking up and I would say to my husband, because we have separate mattresses, separate bedrooms actually, which I write about in the book. I kept saying to my husband, Michael, every time I wake up, my hips are bothering me, my back's bothering me. I don't know what's going on. And so he said to me, honey, well, why don't you just get a new mattress? And I said, I can't. We spent a lot of money on this mattress. It's only 1.5 years old, and it's crazy. I'm not going to go ahead and spend more money. Oops, I see the light is changing. I'm not going to go and spend a ton more money on a new mattress. I don't know. I just couldn't justify that. So in the middle of construction, that repairs that we've been having done on the house, one day, Michael needed to sleep on that mattress. And when he got up afterwards, he said to me, Cheryl, that mattress is horrible. My back is killing me. My hips are killing me. It's really not good. You really need to get a new mattress. Enough already. It's not good self-care for you to keep sleeping on it. And I thought, you know what? He's right. I've got to get a new mattress. Maybe, I'll give the mattress to somebody else. For them, it might work just fine. We all have different ways of, different needs in terms of, I like a nice cushy mattress. Michael likes a really firm mattress. So I went to Jordan's Furniture and I tried different mattresses, found one that I absolutely loved, and made sure that I could return it if it didn't feel right, if it didn't work, because I was going to return it this time. I wished I had returned the last one. So we purchased the mattress, and I made plans to have it delivered, and it was delivered on Saturday morning. When they came in to deliver it, I said to them, do me a favor, just bring it upstairs, leave it in the plastic, because I want to be able to use the plastic for the old mattress because I'm going to give it away to a friend of ours. They said, no problem at all. So they brought it upstairs, and they went to remove the old mattress, and the gentleman who was delivering it said to me, you do realize that you have this mattress on upside down, that this mattress is upside down, right? And I said, no, what do you mean? And he flipped the mattress, and on the back end of the mattress was the most amazing, cushy, pillowy top. And he said, for some reason, your mattress was turned upside down, and you should have been sleeping on the back side. The side that's supposed to be against the platform is the side you've been sleeping on. And I thought, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. And so I called Jordan's Furniture, and they were great. They said, listen, it's in the plastic. Just, what do you call it? Just refuse the delivery. I see the lights happening again. Just refuse the delivery. We'll take it back and we'll credit you the money. And it was a lot of money. It was like $3,000 for a mattress. I mean, that's insane, right? But they were great. They took the mattress back. The guys who were delivering it had a good laugh. I had a good laugh. Michael had a really good laugh. And I thought, oh my God, like how, after they left, I thought, boy, what a lesson in tolerating something I should have never been tolerating. I mean, something as fundamental as good sleep, and you all know, if you've been following me long enough, you know that I always talk about the importance of good sleep. It's like it's a fundamental self-care issue. And when we get a good night's sleep, which means you go to bed at a reasonable hour, you sleep straight through, ideally, and you wake up, you just feel so much better. I mean, don't you feel so much better afterwards? I feel like 1,000,000% better, and I feel like I can just go about my day in a much more effective way. So I've really been thinking this week about, Roberta says, you're supposed to rotate your mattress every 6 months. Well, this particular mattress, the one I have, you weren't supposed to rotate. And I didn't know it. You can rotate it this way so that the same side, you're sleeping on the same side, but you're not supposed to flip it. And I must have flipped it early on, thinking I was doing the right thing. And I wasn't. I was instead setting myself up to sleep basically on a board. It had a little bit of a pillow top, but it was kind of like a board. So it really made me think this week, I spent about 6 months tolerating, so the last 3 nights I have slept like a baby. And when I get up, I can't believe how good I feel. Like I was saying to Michael, wow, my back's bothering me, my hips are bothering me. It must be from CrossFit. It must be from, just the body breaking down over time, which I should know better than to even say that, let alone think it. And last 3 nights, I feel like $1,000,000. No problem at all. And I've been walking around saying, what else am I tolerating in my life? What else am I putting up with that I shouldn't be putting up with so that I could take better care of myself? And that's what I want to just sort of put out to all of you. I want to challenge you to just think about, what are you tolerating in your life? I'd be very curious to hear. You can just post, just in the comments, just tell me what you're tolerating. What are you putting up with? I still laugh when I think about that mattress. I cannot believe for a solid year I was sleeping on the back end of the mattress. And now it's like I have a brand new bed. It's really great. Anyway, the whole conversation about self-care, the whole conversation about what we tolerate, how we don't take care of ourselves, because for a number of reasons, in my case, I didn't want to replace something I paid a lot of money for. And that makes sense. It totally makes sense. On one hand, because I like to take good care of my financial health, but not at the expense of my body and my emotional, physical, and spiritual health. Not good. But some of us will tolerate less than what we want, a job we don't like, relationships where we don't feel nurtured and cared for. We'll tolerate a lot of different things because we don't want to rock the boat. And this is the excerpt that I wanted to read to you. It's a little bit longer than normal. Let me see where my glasses are here, people. Oh, come on. There they are. Hold on, I dropped them. There we go. I want to, so let's look at some of what you're tolerating here. Working at a job that is no longer working for you, dogs barking in the neighborhood, interrupting my meditation. Okay, Carol, they're just inviting you to learn to meditate more deeply. That's what's going on there. Tolerating lots of clutter. I've got a book for you. My sister Carrie's written this great book called What Your Clutter is Trying to Tell You. Maria, I would recommend that for you. Someone's tolerating a person for a very long time. So yeah, lots of things that we tolerate. So, and there's lots of reasons we do, but I want to read you an excerpt from Waking Up in Winter. It's a little bit long, but it's important, and it's not too bad. And to me, this excerpt, this journal entry, really, it was October 5th of this journal. This journal entry really speaks to it speaks to our sort of cultural relationship with self-care and why so many of us put up with things we shouldn't be putting up with. So, October 5th is the journal entry. This is when I was traveling in Europe. I'm in Hamburg to speak at a conference. I came into the hotel restaurant this morning hoping to find some breakfast, but the staff was already taking away the buffet. In need of sustenance for the busy day ahead, I pleaded for protein, and a sympathetic hostess went to the kitchen and returned with a bowl of hard-boiled eggs. They'll do nicely. She also brought a treat. When delivering my tea, she included 3 little pots of honey, each a different flavor: wildflower, lavender, and heather. It's things like this, simple, delightful pleasures, that interrupt an old pattern of mine where I look for what's wrong when I'm traveling instead of what's right. It's because for the longest time I was really missing home when I was traveling a lot, and I wasn't really owning the truth about how much I was missing home. I'm scheduled to give 2 magazine interviews and record a video in advance of a workshop I'll be teaching here next year. I've given so many media interviews that talking about myself bores me, but I'll do my best to mix things up and make them fun. And then this is later on in that day. One interview down. A young woman who looked to be in her late 20s gazed at me hopefully, her face searching mine for answers. Is it really okay to make caring for ourselves a priority, she asked. Won't some people be offended by that behavior? It turns out that the term self-care is difficult to translate in German. It sounds selfish to the native ear, she tells me, and she's afraid that people will think I'm suggesting they behave in ways that might appear self-absorbed or arrogant. Let me fix this. God knows I've heard this before. We might be in Germany, but her fear is universal. Men, women, young, old, no matter where I travel, I'm confronted with the same question. Isn't teaching people to practice better self-care teaching them to be selfish? Yes, it is, I usually agree, and that's a good thing. Most of the people who read my books, attend my talks, or follow me on social media admit that they've spent a ridiculous amount of time trying to manage the perceptions of others by being nice. Have you done that? They say yes when a quiet voice inside whispers, no, no, no. They attempt to defend the boundaries they set, and in doing so, open doors that invite arguments and eventual backtracking. When they start to make their own needs a priority, it often rocks the steady boat they've been delicately balancing for years. As a result, the people around them get upset and start questioning the new behavior, because change feels scary and unsettling to the safe and familiar tribe. When I give people the tools to take better care, they need to take better care of themselves, the language to say no, permission to gracefully disappoint others, strategies for setting boundaries that honor one's time and energy, for instance, it can appear selfish at first, but here's the thing. I'm encouraging people to honor the soul, not the ego. That's a really important part here. Self-care is about honoring the soul. It's not about honoring the ego. In reality, good soul care fosters integrity. It means telling the truth and making choices from love rather than guilt or obligation, thereby strengthening relationships all around. Of course, there's a deeper cultural dynamic at work here, one that has been set in place for centuries. We cannot be controlled if we develop a mind of our own, a desire for freedom and health and personal power. It is empowering to practice good self-care, and the tribes we belong to may not like it. Those tribes might take the form of our marriage, family, employers, political establishments, or religious organizations. Tribes tend to resist change, and people who are empowered don't go along to get along. No worries, I tell my interviewer as we continue our discussion. At first glance, self-care may appear to be selfish, but without caring for our own needs, we're incapable of experiencing true, authentic connections with ourselves and others. And ultimately, that's what we all long for. We just go about it in the wrong way by people-pleasing and stifling our own desires. When we finish the interview, I walk away thinking about my own self-care. I began my career by teaching what I needed to learn, and now that I've learned it, I need to remember it. Selfish is good. Paying attention to what my soul needs and doing something about it is the key to getting back on track. And I need to get back on track. I'm growing weary of the road, of my life really, and I feel like I'm losing a vital connection to myself. There are signs of system overload, the beginning of a descent. And I'll stop there and just say that the beginning of the descent is the beginning of the hero's journey. It's when we start to notice more deeply, more directly what is and isn't working in our lives, and we become less tolerant. We become, we pay attention to our frustration and our overwhelm and our irritability or our bitchiness, and we start to realize that we're putting up with way more than we need to be putting up with, and that it's taking a toll. It's taking a toll on us emotionally and spiritually and physically. The mattress story is a really good example. The story I told at the beginning of this Facebook Live is a great example that it's a metaphor, really, about putting up with something that you know on some level isn't right. There's something that needs attention here. There's something that needs fixing. There's something that needs direction. And the first step is really just telling the truth about that, admitting what isn't working anymore, admitting that you're tired of the clutter around your home and the way you beat yourself up about it. You're tired of feeling uncomfortable and like a foreign visitor in your body because it's not in good shape and it doesn't feel the way you know you really want to feel. Or you're tired of relationships that consistently drain your energy and you just keep putting up with it, or even worse, you start avoiding people and not telling the truth about what's going on. It starts with this recognition that, oh, I've not been feeling well here. My body's in trouble. My psyche's in trouble. Things don't feel right to me, and I need to do something about this. And then, very much like with the mattress story, it also has to do with being willing to ask for and receive help. I wonder what would have happened if that man who came into the bedroom and noticed that the mattress was turned upside down just took it out as an old mattress and put the new one in. First of all, I would have been out a lot of money that I didn't need to be out. Getting his assistance, seeing the world through his eyes, through new eyes, was actually really quite helpful and allowed me to make a change. It's a simple example, but it really is a metaphor. And so in this book, Waking Up in Winter, in that entry, that conversation with a young woman, this is also, I've learned so much from younger people who are just sort of starting the journey. Her conversation, her concerns about self-care really allowed me to walk away from that meeting reconsidering my own thoughts about self-care, which I think we all have to do at different times in our lives. It's not like you get really good at practicing self-care and you're just off and running for the rest of your life. Life doesn't work that way. We have ups and downs. We have health crises. We have relationship crises. We have cultural crises, planetary challenges, hurricanes, and, all different sorts of big challenges that we get faced with. And we're always being invited back to loving ourselves more, invited back to caring for ourselves more, invited back to paying closer attention to our lives and really looking at what, naming the truth about what is and isn't working. And in a lot of ways, this next book is, I keep getting these rays of light, so I'm going to decide it's sort of like a divine intervention. There we go. In some ways, not in some ways, this new book, Waking Up in Winter, really is an invitation to make your inner life, to make engagement with your inner life a greater priority, a greater priority in your life, so that you care more about what's going on in here. You care more about your heart and your mind and how you're thinking, how you're feeling, both emotionally and physically. And you start to make the changes that you need to make in order to honor yourself in a more loving way, really. Let's see. Oh, well. You know what? I'm going to keep the nice soft light. How about that? So let me just look at a few of your and let me just say this about tolerating things. This is really important, everybody. I really want you to hear this. Please don't confuse tough choices with having no choice at all. We always have choices. It's just that the harder the choice is, the more it feels like, the tougher the choice is, the more uncomfortable it feels to even think about making it. The more we tell ourselves we can't do it. I have no voice. I have no choice. I have to stay at this job. I need the money. Yeah, but you can actually put a resume together. You can ask people to help you do some networking or help you to sort of brainstorm your skills. We've become too skilled at tolerating things in our lives. And what I want to invite you to do is become less skilled at that and more skilled at making the changes that really, really matter. And what I hope for most of all in this new book is that it really shows you how those changes are made by somebody who's been in this field for a long time. I've been teaching self-care for over 25 years, and I still need the lessons that I teach. And I still am challenged to practice them every day. And instead of telling you the steps I think you need to take in order to make changes, I show you what happens when you start listening to your life. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to listen to your life. When I listened to my back, I got myself a new bed, which gave me a great night's sleep, which then gave me a great day, which then also gave me a great story to share with you. And I hope that you'll take this story with you on this day, on this week, and I hope you'll use it to remind yourself that you deserve good things in life too. And you just need to pay attention. You just need to tell the truth. And then you just need to invite this beautiful divine energy that is available to all of us. Let's imagine that's what the light is. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Then you can just invite this beautiful divine energy that always has your back, whether you believe it or not. There is a spiritual force. You can call it God, a higher power, the creator, intelligence. I respect whatever you choose to call this higher force, but it is present. It is always available to you. You don't have to do anything to earn this divine assistance. You are worthy of this divine assistance. All you need to do is start telling the truth about what isn't working in your life, and then ask for divine support. And then notice the people who show up. Notice the emails that come in. Notice the people you run into, the piece of information you get unexpectedly that tells you, invites you to take your next step. Those are the kinds of things that happen that let us know we are co-creating these lives with a divine intelligence. And that's the reason we're here. The soul is here to experience life, not conquer it, not suffer through it, but to be present to it and to be committed to our own evolution so that we're always staying awake, telling the truth, and doing something about the truth that we own. All right. That's the message for this week. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I appreciate it, and I'll look forward to talking with you next week. Next week we'll do a coaching session, so you can bring your questions. Make sure that you are subscribed. If you look up, and you'll see the blue sign up sign. You can click on that, and you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter. And that will let you know whenever the Facebook Lives are posted. The time's changed. It's not the same time every week. But I hope you'll join me again. And I hope you'll also pre-order a copy of Waking Up in Winter. It'll be out. It gets released on December 19th, just in time for Christmas. All right, everybody. Thank you for the hearts and the thumbs up and the happy faces. I love you too. Have a great day.